Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Cupcakes, Cocktails, and Conversation with Nicole. Today, we're going to be talking about dating in the age of social media. And I got a guest with me this time, so I'm not going to be talking to myself. All right, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hola, hola. My name is Trek with two Ks. Longtime friend of Nicole. God, it's been a minute. So I was told I have to give my age. I'm in the 40 category now, officially. Um, and technically divorced. Um, I'm not dating just because this is not where my head is at right now. Uh, and what was the other thing? I'm sorry, I forgot.
What do you do?
Oh, okay. So I work in, or at least let me say it. I started a company that is called Trek Smart Consulting, and part of what I do through that is working in the blockchain crypto space. I do not give financial advice as far as trading or any of that stuff, but if you want to talk about building a brand echo or how to help get your thing out there for your brand identity, and I also can give some basic understanding and recommend you to other people as far as if you're looking to get in on the trading side, but I can provide basic education about getting into the space and how to operate in it. But the primary focus is to deal with businesses that are looking to build their brand identity.
Oh,
Oh, and I'm
fantastic.
also
A lot of-
sorry, I forgot
Go
to
ahead.
say. Also, I do the gig size stuff. Well, the government doesn't count as gig size work as far as I am a National Guard member. Been doing that for a while now too, and I do other like gig economy stuff things too. So that's me.
Okay, cool. So,
Okay.
back when we were younger, dating was a little bit more authentic, where you had to work with somebody, whether it be down at Easy Pass or the McDonald's, you had
You
to
had to
meet
actually go
somebody in
out.
school, college, you know, you had to go outside and meet somebody. And then, if you was dating somebody, that person was, you didn't have a whole lot of Googling uh, things that you can do. Now, we're not too old where we ain't have Black Planet and the early stages of instant
Facebook.
messenger and things of that
Hmm.
nature. So from then being in your 20s or your late teens, what's different between then and now?
Who then and now, um, the the ease of access to be able to judge people without them knowing you're judging them. Um, I had my little period where I was, doing the whole go through Tinder. I know some people who just like literally scroll through Tinder just to pass the time. And I don't know, that always kind of got me. But like I know I went through that period and one of the things I can look at it now and go like, wow, like because you literally are judging people based on their physical characteristics and what you associate with. This is pretty, this is not, this is handsome, this is not, this is cute, adorable, attractive, whatever. And you just swipe on, they don't even notice you did that. You may go, oh, this is my favorite. I don't know how the app works now, but that was definitely a thing. um and then you get into like,
So what's different between, okay, so if you're on Tinder and you're judging on looks, as in person?
you got to repeat what you just said because you froze.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So what I was asking was, like, if you're judging on Tinder by based off of looks, isn't that the same thing you do in a club and a bar? It's just a look.
Yes, but there's a certain level of, oh, we're in the same space, we're in the same time zone, we're in the same city. And depending on like how the space is set up, like if you are looking at me, I can get
Mhm.
some level of like, oh, this person is checking me out. Tinder came in the game and a couple of other different apps, and it was just like it, it's you have no awareness of that you're being potentially prospected on. And there's no part of arguing your case. Like we all know, people catface in this new age of dating, where the whole bio is a straight lie. The pictures from like 5 or 10 years ago, and it might not even be them. Like, you know what's crazy? And I remember what was this? 2019. I, you know, I'm heavy on LinkedIn,
Uh-huh.
and I would have female friends and associates that I meet who would talk about like how guys are just dropping on their DMs, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, what? Why are you
And
even
LinkedIn,
doing
right?
that here? It made no sense to me. It
You
really
know,
made no sense.
I heard that LinkedIn is like the sly cheating app. Like the guys, because it's safe, and you think that's just business related, and that's where like all the stuff is happening in the
That
DMs on
that's
LinkedIn. So
and
I was like,
that's something new that I just am starting to understand now. But like, I don't operate like that in the space. So when I'm having other people tell me about it, I'm like, wait, for real? That's what's going. They're like, yeah, man, where you been? I'm like, I don't know. Obviously, I haven't been where y'all have been. Like, so yeah, it's
yeah, when I
funny
seen
like
my
that.
husband was on LinkedIn, like when I seen my husband was on LinkedIn heavy, I was like, "Yo, what you doing on LinkedIn? Okay, is this business? Like, what you got going on LinkedIn? Because I done heard that this is where the people be at now. Okay, and y'all be in the LinkedIn sliding in the heavy DMs.
Okay, so you know what's funny about that too, though? At the same time, and LinkedIn is funny in at least my experience as far as that sliding into the DM thing. Um, I had changed how I was doing my content because I post like Monday through Friday. I do a set of content on LinkedIn, right? And um it was at some part in 2020 where I started getting these like random female D, like you get the request first and I'm just like, all right, whatever, this might be a potential good addition to the network. And so I accept, and like clockwork it just started falling in where it'd be the automatic hi. Okay, where is this gonna go? And
Mm.
because of what I deal with within the whole blockchain crypto space thing, I'm leery of people in looking at it from a cyber point of view. Am I being fished right now? Am I being like, I'm not a whale, but it's like, how are we approaching this right now? Are you actually about to say something that's relevant to what I do? Or are you about to try to fish some information out of me to go get something else? And it
Mhm.
just started popping up like a couple times in the month to the point where I had to change what my about section reads like. I have a whole ROI. Like if you don't meet these points, like just don't say nothing to me. And then I stop requesting people because that's another thing that gets you on LinkedIn. When you start going into certain other pools or networks, it shows
Uh,
up on other people's stuff. Um, I mean, now I haven't had it happen that bad this year so far, but last year it was just getting stupid with that.
but
And go ahead.
people were bored last year, like super bored. So they was on
Yes.
everything.
Yes. You know how many people I know who got in situations because they was bored in the house? So,
Bored in the house,
like,
bored in the house, bored.
yo, like I don't know what the STD rate looked like, but it definitely had to jump up a little bit. Like, and then we all know it's gonna be X amount of babies born in this year off of the last 10 months, 11 months. Well, yeah, X amount of babies born this month. So, yeah.
Yeah, trust me, I know. All right, so question: how many social media platforms do you have?
Oof. Okay, so where I'm at now with it, compared like, and when we say social media, we're talking about anything that's like the app or desktop that's about the networking part of it. Um,
Yes.
all right, so before I started the whole like doing the business thing, I was like X amount on Facebook, on Instagram. Um, I didn't jump into Twitter until 2017. And then like when I decided to do the whole business thing, I was probably on like 10 or 12 different things. And it was because my approach was, well, oh, I need to be on all of these different social media platforms in order to like reach the end user or the customer that I didn't even know what they were. So I was on Slack,
Yeah.
Telegram. I didn't do Snapchat, but like I was on a bunch of other different things, and then I was on like blockchain, crypto related platforms like Steemit and BitTube and stuff like that. And before the first year ended out,
Mhm.
like I cut more than half of that stuff down. And to now where there's like only three things that I really mess with now, but I don't do any of like the
Okay.
traditional um dating app stuff. Like I don't mess with any of those. So I'm just literally, and I don't mess with
Okay. So
Facebook
you're done
like
with
that.
that.
It ain't that okay.
Wasn't
let,
you?
let me. I don't want to make it sound like how do I say this? It's just that for where I'm at right now, dating apps don't fit into what I'm trying to get done. And because I'm not out here like seeking Mrs. Right or like the next thing, I don't see the point of me being there.
So if you were to be actively dating, how would you do it?
Shit. Honestly, I don't even know because I ain't think about it. Like, and it's just because I'm in my own little, world right now. Like, I'm not worried about. Okay. Let me. In my head, I'm listening to. I'm like, wait, how do I sound right now to somebody? This might sound like, oh, I'm um I'm not getting none, or I'm trying to be celibate, or like, holier than thou. Like, not at all. Trust me, I'm the last person to tell anybody to be celibate. Like, um, but it's just I'm not seeking I'm not in the Mrs. Seeking the Mrs. Right or the Ms. Next thing. Like, that's just not where I'm at right now. This stuff, man. And how would if I was actively doing it? Honestly, I don't even know. Like, what's funny? I got a friend right now, and I can actually say friend. We met through what the hell on Tinder, and that was like damn near 2 years ago.
Okay.
Um, but it's one of those things of yeah, like I try to be cool with people. And this is one person that even to now, like we hang out, we talk and bullshit, but it's not friends with benefits. It's not, you know, let's get a little hookup or whatever. It's just like this is a friend now. Um, I definitely didn't see it playing out that way when I first met them, honestly. And
Hmm.
what I would do now, I honestly don't know because I'm not on Facebook like that. I find Facebook to be interesting how like if you say you're in a relationship on Facebook, somehow that makes it like illegal. I mean, it makes it legal and
Yes.
official and
Yes.
like I don't know.
It's a
It's weird.
it's like a marriage. It's like a marriage certificate. Like if you don't claim somebody on social media, y'all not together. Y'all are not
And then
together
if
in
you
real
say
life.
that and if you change your status, all of a sudden you in trouble. You in
Yeah.
trouble
Like,
with
oh
them, and then you in
yeah,
trouble with
every
the peoples.
yeah. They're
Like
like, who's that? Like, yo, that was an accident. I changed my relationship status by accident. I touched the wrong button. Like, nah.
right,
You
what you been up
single?
to?
What you been doing? Who is it? Like, dang, is this real life? Like, is this
Yes,
for real? For real?
that's
I
where
know
we are
for a
right
little
now.
bit. Like, I forgot to change my where I lived. on Facebook, and Aaron kept saying, "So you still live out there?" I was like, "Bruh, it's Facebook. I don't care."
Right. It's not valid in my world. It's not
Like I
valid.
know where I live. And you know what's funny? So, let's see. He and I met each other almost 12 years ago, and it was so funny because he didn't have my phone number. You know, we spoke at work or whatever, but he found me on Facebook and sent me a message.
You cannot find me on Facebook.
But that's what people. I mean, this was 12 years ago, and everybody was on Facebook more heavily. So he's like, "All right, how do you find somebody?" Da da da. So I think that's like what people do
Hmm.
now is you meet somebody, and the first thing you do is you turn around to your phone and you get to looking to see where they're at and figure out. You got to look at their profile. You got to Google them. You got to look at their profile pictures.
Okay.
You got to see what they posting. Like, how does that change things?
Hmm. You're being judged without actual interaction and conversation. And your internet, your internet is hilarious. There you go.
And you know I got bad service.
I know, I know.
Look, this is my Wi-Fi device.
Hey, I understand. Trust me. I know what I remember what it's like.
Like
Um,
it's supposed to be early in the morning where the Wi-Fi is good.
right? Can't do nothing at night.
You sure
But
can.
so what I'm saying is like that whole thing right there. I'll give you one better. I met a guy who I think he's from DC. He created a app that you can search how I'm gonna say how popular someone is. And all you need, I think it was based on the phone number. And it's a paid service. So just don't think this is a free joint. Um,
Hmm.
it was at a startup pitch competition I met the guy at, but he was saying how he started off in DC. It took him like more than 5 years to get the whole thing going. He grew to like over 15,000 users, but he was getting a lot of work out, a lot of users out of DC. This is pre-COVID, y'all. This is pre-COVID. And so eventually he started getting users popping up in like New York, Miami, Chicago, out in Texas and stuff. The basic thing of this app is there's a certain segment of your number that is like public domain, like how
Hmm.
your street address is set up, right? Where it's the street is one thing, but then there's the number part that goes specifically to your house. Phone numbers work along the similar line. So what? And I don't know what made him think. I don't remember what he said actually that made him think of doing this app. But basically, it was, hey, let me see. Is this if this person tells me they're not a player, sign up, do the service, put the number in, and then you'll see how many times that person gets pinged in that app. Now, if you out here running the
Oh,
clubs in a certain place and you out here giving out your number, oh, just hit me at this number, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? If they know about that app and you hitting all the different spots, your number gonna pop up a number of times and they're gonna know either they're gonna mess with you or they're gonna not.
that's
And
smart.
I'm
What about
yeah, yeah.
what about didn't you use on that like Meetup or Link Up or whatever app? What was that thing
Meet up.
called? Like when you is that what it was called?
Mm-hmm. But see, okay,
Did
so
did you
Meetup
meet the ladies that way?
Meetup is interesting because Meetup works different where it's about whatever your interest is. So if you about reading books, if you about movies, if you about violin or orchestra stuff, if you about just hanging out and doing bar hopping, you could start a group and then be like, yo, we gonna meet at blah 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 on this and this day, and then we gonna go to like four bars in the 5 block radius. Like there's literally I remember I didn't find out about Meetup until probably I think it was like 9 months or something after already
Hmm.
being in Maryland. And I was
Hmm.
like, yo, like I wish I'd have found this when I first came here. Mind you, Meetup is an old app. Meetup is an old app. Like there were, well, pre-COVID, there was like I remember there was one group that was like fathers and daughters, something like that. And like it
Oh,
was a
that's cool.
paid membership group where like fathers would meet up with their daughters and they would do like these father-daughter day trips and stuff. Like it's a whole bunch of different type of stuff on there. I don't know what it looks like now, but there were also the social things. So you had like the business network stuff, the people who were into art stuff. Then you had the people who were just like, oh, we're going to this club on this night, and this is what time we're going to be there from. And X amount of people showed up. It's like, oh, hey, you're in the blah 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 group, yeah. So it'd be like the what was it? The under 30 group was one group. The 40 plus was another one. The social people of Baltimore, like, and it was pretty much some kind of group in every major city, and it's a global app.
But how
Like,
many girls did you meet?
did I meet? Wait, when we say meet, are we talking about
Meet,
the
meet.
that
I
wasn't
could
my
put them
cup
close
of tea?
together.
That's not
No,
my
no,
cup
no.
of
But how many did you link up with?
No, I'm dead serious. That's not
None.
I'm not a one night stand person. I'm not a one night stand person. Funny enough, okay,
Okay,
better
so did you
better
make
yet.
one night stand or 3 night stand? Or because one night turns to 2 nights to 3 nights to 4 nights. Like it starts with
I'm
one
put,
night.
listen,
Like
listen.
Nas said, all he got is one mic. All you need is one night to get to the 2 nights, to the 3 nights, to the
Okay.
5 nights.
Yo, you know what's funny? When I first came here, I remember there was this, and this kind of is what turned me off from X amount of Baltimore to a degree. Was when I first got here, I didn't know jack about Baltimore,
Oh,
and
we
so
know clearly by
listen,
by
listen,
virtue of where you moved to.
stop judging me because now you sounded like
I'm
her.
not. I'm not judging. I'm just saying you moved from New York, and we had questions about where I parked my car. Okay, on the street. That's all I'm
Listen,
saying. That's all.
so there's this one young lady that I have met in one of the groups. I don't even remember what group it was now. And I remember when I first came here and not knowing nothing about how Baltimore's cultural and economic and like basically, invisible line is.
Hmm.
So now we talking or whatever in that evening, and all the other stuff is going on in the club place that we're at. And I was like, yeah, so and I didn't know the difference between what it was to be out in the county and then what it meant to be in the city. So I'm like, oh, all right. So where you at? She's like, oh, I'm out in the county. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't understand what the difference was either in the mentality of like how county people look at the city folks. Uh,
Okay.
so now I say to her, oh yeah, okay, well I'm in the city. He's like, oh, what part you in? I'm like, oh, I'm in this area. If anybody know anything about Park Heights, that's where I first moved to. I didn't know nothing about Park Heights. Okay, don't judge me. This was my first getting here. She did the like the head turned, and then I heard the oh, and when I didn't understand it at the time. So we talking, in regards to the rest of the evening and stuff, and then like the conversation just kind of like trailed off or whatever. And I've seen her at other events, and then it was like now I'm picking up like, oh wow, like you're not really trying to talk to me now, but you were sounding all interested when we first met. And I'm talking with other people like, yo, I don't understand. Like, what is it when I say about where I am in Baltimore? Everyone does the oh, and I get the head thing, and I can tell you, like, it's funny like that out here, where depending on who you're talking to, it make a world of difference. And that was one of the lessons I learned when I first came to Baltimore, where it's like, oh, okay, if you're not dealing with some chick who's like, quote, in the hood or on the city side, like the county ones is judging you. The county ones is judging you.
Like, oh, you live where?
Yes.
All right. So let me ask you this:
Hmm.
you meet a girl, you're not looking, but that's usually when we meet somebody is when we're not
Right.
looking, right? You meet
Right.
somebody at one of your crypto or your Bitcoin events, and she seems kind of interesting.
Hmm.
Do you check her social media? Yes or no?
No.
Why
No,
not? You're
because I'm
not.
a
You're not.
grown.
Is that a girl? Is that a girl thing?
It's not a girl thing. It is definitely not a girl thing. It's
Okay, let's
just
say you did. Let's say you did check her social media, and she is all her pictures are what they call belfies, butt selfies. You know when they do the butt and
okay.
then they turn and your back hurt. Every picture is that. That's all her pictures.
I would
Thoughts
have
like, are you still
rather
gonna
be.
approve?
I would have. Okay, here's my thing now and how I look at this stuff. If you tell me I have to follow you or connect with you through um one of like an IG or a Facebook, I instantly don't take you serious for shit. Um, and then if it gets to where it's like, oh, you know, like I saw your social media and that's what it was, like I'm not judging you on the end of, oh, you have the butt pictures or whatever. It's more so like if we talking and like the conversation can't get past what you presenting here, then I'm already tuned out mentally. So like, like
So
because
so social media aside, then
mhm.
40 years old. If you was looking for a partner, what are you looking for?
Somebody who can complement my drive and I can pair well with. And when I say pair well, I don't mean in regards to like we pair well because we follow traditional male female what's the masculine feminine thing to do role. Like um I mean like hey you got the what am I looking for as a word? If you're someone who is more on the let me think about and let me analyze before I take action. And I'm working off of it like, all right, listen, I assess the situation. I'm just gonna move because I got enough of the information. Because like how you have some people who they want to analyze everything before they make one move, but you need the other person who's the actionary person. Like if
Mm-hmm.
we're complementary in that regards of I know when it's a based on how we interact and how I understand you, I know when it's appropriate for me to say, okay, I'm just going to take action and not do something that detrimentally messes us up, right? And not do
Gotcha.
something that I didn't have some understanding of conversation with you to know where you are on this topic or this situation. Um and like to understand like not every day is going to be good, right? And somebody who gets that realistic part of it, like today we're good on the overall, but today, you know what? I'm just annoyed, and I need you to pick up the slack in a certain thing. All right, cool, I got that. Like I've done the whole thing of been the what is it? What do they call them? The male house guy, like cooking,
The,
cleaning, taking the kids from school to school. Like I've done all of that. So like if you come to me talking about, oh, I know how to cook and clean, word, me too. What that got to do with anything?
mm,
Like I'm
so,
at
so
that
you're
point
not
now.
looking for a domestic partner.
I, listen, I already got the house. I know how to clean. Like I know how to cook.
So what does she have to be able to do?
Understand how to work in pair to make something bigger that lasts us down the road. Like my whole thing now is I'm building a legacy blueprint for my grandkids. That's six generations, including myself, down. If you not thinking of stuff like that, like I don't really want to hear about, oh, like, I got this 401k. All right, cool, you got a 401k. Got you. Like that's gonna work for you until you die, but what happens after you? That's where I'm at right now with stuff.
So
And now, go ahead. Sorry.
education, education, education or no education.
It depends. No, let me not say it depends. I'm not gonna knock people who spent 10 plus years or near at least 5 years and probably like 100 plus K, in money to get some letters before or after their name.
Mm,
I'm not going to think you are a better person than someone who does not have an education in the formal sense like that. Because I know some
mm,
real non educated folks who are very intellectual, as I know some
mm.
very high degree folks who have no street or common
Those,
sense.
they're a little slow. Could be a little slow.
So education isn't a make or break deal for me. Like that's not even like one of the things that I would count as like, oh, well, she has to at least have a master's. And I know some people who are like that, like, oh, well, they got to at least have a master's before I'll even take them serious.
Well, I mean, like, you can have a GED and have a thriving business.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. For me, education wouldn't
So
be
they
the
do have
thing
an
to be like,
education.
they can't have it. Yeah, for sure. Like it doesn't knock you out of the option for me if you don't have it, but it doesn't like raise your value because you do have it.
Success or non-success.
When you say success, what are we talking about as success? Like success in regards to their
Uh,
career trajectory? If
I
you're
guess
a
so.
doctor or
Well, no, because it's being a doctor doesn't mean you're success. That's not necessarily a measurement of success. If there are, let's just make it the lowest denominator. If they work at McDonald's and they're 40 years old, are you going to date the cashier or the manager?
the manager might be making as much as the cashier these days. So like that, yo, they I'm not trying to sound like I'm
That
being
is that is
stush
not true.
or what, but like they about to like the minimum wage is gonna end up going up. You know what I mean?
But we're not going to talk about that.
Right,
We're not
right,
going to
right.
talk about the minimum wage and the nonsense of the minimum wage going up. We're not going to talk
Hmm.
about that at all because I got y'all.
Okay,
What I'm saying
so
is, like,
as
if you
far
want
as
somebody, you pretty much want somebody that's going to create generational wealth with you.
yes, yeah, like you know me for how long? I've been out of the traditional workforce. I left defense contracting in
Yeah.
20 officially 2018, but like I was dipping out on my job after the second deployment. Like I was just not coming in. And that was 2017. And
Mm.
aside from dealing with, you know, the state level Uncle Sam, I haven't been in the traditional workforce in what is that, over 3 years now. Now, I'm not saying who I would eventually like who would be the partner for me has to be somebody outside of the traditional work thing, but it would definitely have to be somebody who has a certain level of like grind and follow through and like
Okay.
longer term thinking.
So you're looking for somebody who's looking for generational wealth, um, has success on the brain. You're just not you're not tattooed to a certain kind of success, but it has to be that hustler mentality. I think it's just it's a New York thing. We all a bunch of hustlers anyway, so
Yeah,
every
yeah.
that's what you used to. Like, yo, you how many jobs you got? One. That's crazy. You only got one. You got one hustle, or you ain't got no job. What?
So you
And
ain't
I
doing
think, like,
something that brings in income. And the whole thing now is, are you doing what can bring in income? And no matter what the economic situation is in like this main street reality, we're not talking about stock market stuff. Can you still function?
yeah,
That's always my thing at the end of it. Like when stuff
yeah,
like I know for the first 2 years of going through this whole like working to be the entrepreneur, like I definitely went through the financial woes, but I understand a lot more about myself and I understand a lot more of how the system works and what I can and can't do and how to get around certain things in a legal manner, folks. I'm just being clear on that in a legal manner. Like, um, but for somebody who is the play it by the book, like I'm not the ideal person for you.
Gotcha. I got you. So, the moral of the story is you're not looking for anybody right now because you got to do you. And you're right now in the finding yourself and making sure your stuff is good.
Oh no, no,
And
I'm
if
not
you need
finding myself.
well
I'm
you're
securing certain other things.
secure, you're finding your bags and
Yes.
finding your complete niche in the business world and what's going to make everybody rich or everybody at least wealthy and secure down the line. And at the end of the day, if the young lady comes along, she's going to be in her 20s, she's going to be hustling.
No, no. I don't got no time to be going through. Nah, dog. Mm-mm.
She's going to be 25 or younger. She got to make sure she
No.
I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. But one thing I've learned, like doing this YouTube channel so far, is that I knew this traveling from different states and living in different places, that New Yorkers are very different. And because we're different, I feel that we are ignorant to the other places and we have expectations that everybody is like us. I know growing up, you had to have a two-income household, or y'all might not be living in New York no more.
Facts.
Somebody, everybody better have a
Facts.
job. The
Like
kid better have, like, we can't afford to not.
the
You
dog
have to have
better do something. The cat better like yeah.
the
And
most of the people that live on Fifth Avenue, a lot of them people both got jobs. I'm just saying.
yo, I didn't understand that until I moved here, where I had to look back on it and I was like, yo, if I'm making this amount here and I got more quote space, what the hell was I doing in New York? Like,
But you know what's
and
crazy
then
about
I
Maryland? Maryland is still a pricey place to live, though.
yes, depending on where
Still
you
pricey.
are, for sure. Um, but
Pricey place to live.
I was definitely at a loss. And then I had to think about it. And it was like, oh wow, it was me and my partner at the time. And it was like, yeah, I was doing this in the trucking thing. They was doing this on the city side. Like, all right, we was killing it. Well, not killing it, but we was doing what we needed to do in regards to how things was working for us. And I was like, damn. And you know what's funny? I remember a couple of years before that, we had a neighbor and we used to we did the backyard barbecue stuff party and stuff for my son, and the neighbor, they had moved out to PA a couple years before, and
Hmm.
we were talking and they were like, yeah, we couldn't afford to move back to the house. I was like, what are you talking about? They was like, oh no, like the neighborhood, for how it changed, we are priced out now. I was like, get out of here. And once I moved X amount of years later, I understood what she meant.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely a mind opener for me. And the other thing that you were saying about the New York mentality thing and how we kind of like zone other people out, I 100% agree with you. But then, like, I know in my case, you get well, sorry, in my case, I know one of the things that I've had to kind of go through and learn in Maryland, which is part of the reason why I'm probably not at that whole dating phase thing now. And like I said, I'm not a one night stand person. Um, is in knowing the people that I know now here, like some of my other battles, some other female friends who are non-military, and like they would hear some of the situations that I would be dealing with, and they'd be like, "Yo, you can't do that here, bro." And I'm like, "What you mean?" Now, I'm not out here trying to say I'm doing females dirty or nothing like that. That is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is what I was made aware of was because of
Hmm.
how I interact with females, where it's like, hey, if me and you is having sexual relations, like I'm not just on some like, all right, hit it and break out. It's like, yo, what's going on with you? You good? Like, how's your situation? How's work? How's things going? Because I feel like if you're in my circle and connecting with me like that, I would like to know that your energy and your situations is good. And I had my
Mm,
female friends telling me, was like, yo, you can't do that. Like, these females out here don't know how to interact with somebody who does that. And I was like, what you
they try to,
mean?
they about to marry you.
And so then you get into that whole situation of like you sending a signal that makes it look like you trying to be more than you trying to be the one-on-one, the long-term dude. And it's like, no, my thing is real simple. If we friends with benefits, I'm really trying to find out like, are things are good with you? Because when they're not good with you, and then you end up coming around me, I feel like you passing off that negative BS on me. I don't
Mm,
need that.
yeah.
But that's just me though.
Well, we're gonna wrap this thing up. So hopefully you'll be in my what
You look like
men
you
really
got
want
thought.
from a. I have a lot. I always have thoughts. I'm always thinking. But
Hmm.
shoot, it's 6:54 a.m. and I gotta go take a shower so I can go to work for
Got
the
you.
first time in weeks, and then go to the gym
Mm.
because that's all I do is work out. They gonna hate me when I get home. I, Aaron gonna have to lock me up in the house because I'm gonna be outside. I'm in the street. He's gonna be like, your wife is for the streets right now. No, I'm not.
I'm so done with you.
He's like, yo, get her. Tell her to stay off of Fashion Nova and Pretty Little Things. She out there buying little clothes. Anyway,
Oh.
tell every tell everybody where they can find you.
Um, it's like in regards to if it's a whole blockchain crypto thing, again, I don't do the
Of
trade
course,
and talk stuff.
of course, it's a blockchain and crypto thing. That's the business, right? Promote
It's the
yours.
business. It is. You're right. You're right. So I got two books coming out this year. One of them is called Sergeant Trek Life After AIT. When the Real Shit Starts. The other one is called Brand Echo. Every brand has a voice. Who echoes yours? These are both going to be ebooks. They'll be out within this month. No, actually, within this next 2 months. Um, and if you're looking to find me as far as the blockchain crypto stuff goes, that is a simple thing of Trek with two Ks, which is TREKK the number two KS. No special characters. You put that in a search engine, my content comes up, guaranteed. I spent over a year having to work on that, and I told you about the whole thing with like getting your stuff out there. It took me over a year to get to that point where you don't need no hashtag or nothing to find my stuff.
That's good. Well, thank you for joining with me. I know it's late and it's early for me. I appreciate it. Still working out the kinks of everything. Can't wait to come home and actually be able to sit down with people and
Mm,
have real drinks and make my
right.
real cupcakes and be real happy. I got 3 studio spaces that I'll be working with. I'm getting my bar done right now so I can make some good cocktails for you.
Okay, I'm ready for that.
Pre So thank you everybody for joining me. Please make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time.